Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at AGL Tapion or Tapion Hirudegarn and just how good he is at 100% in the hidden potential system. Now Tapion Hirudegarn is an interesting unit. He is on movie heroes and movie bosses, which is always something interesting. He's also Giant Form's lead, and he has a very interesting leader skill in that he adds an extra turn onto Giant Forms. So what that means is, well, not an extra turn, he adds an extra max to Giant Form passes. But what that means is basically the amount that they can potentially spawn, except for active skill Giant Forms. Now, in terms of his passive, pretty interesting. Obviously, 50% guard back in the day was pretty high, and still is pretty decent. Can make him relatively tanky, especially against super attacks. He can start to take damage from normals nowadays, but overall he's still pretty solid. His link set is very Tapion-esque with links like Hero and Brainiacs, but all in all he's still a very interesting unit that ultimately at the end of the day has a very interesting place in Dokkan. But yeah, overall a lot of fun, I think, as a unit, and pretty cool. Obviously links exceptionally well with Tapion units, shares 3 crucial links with them, and as a unit he's on a decent chunk of categories. Now his Giant Form is not the most useful because it doesn't do a lot of damage. In fact, it does like no damage. It is an essential Giant Form though, functions the same way. And Hirudegarn does evade, and he will still evade in events where evasion is disabled, which is pretty interesting. All in all, Tapion's not bad. Nowadays I'd say 230k defense, which is kind of what he has with support and all his crucial links active, and 50% damage reduction is like on the decent side of things. Personally speaking, I don't find it to be like in general the highest level of defense, not nowadays, but it's still decent. It's still pretty solid. It's basically like having a unit with guard that has 220k defense. It kind of functions in a similar manner, which honestly speaking is pretty good. I think personally for me, he's quite solid. Attack stat wise, 4 million. Not too bad, and then obviously creeping up to maybe close to the 5 mil mark. If you were to max out his link levels, you could squeeze a little bit more out of him. Brainiacs gives you a bit more attack, Hero gives you a bit more defense, Brainiacs gives you a bit more defense as well. So then you're looking at a somewhat solid performance from him. Obviously he gets that big attack boost when below 50% health. That also helps him out quite a lot. And I think in terms of build, at least for me, crit feels like the best functionality for him. Crit kind of allows you to benefit from some of these attack stats and basically do a little bit of damage. But if you really want to, you can kind of just build him evasion. It'll help out with his tankiness against supers nowadays, because supers nowadays are just way too much for him. But yeah, I still think he's a pretty fun unit, and he is still relatively tanky. I mean, 220k defense, 50% damage reduction is on the decent side of things, just not necessarily super duper hacks. It's like an incredibly solid amount of defense and damage reduction. In terms of his links, that's where things get a bit messy. This guy wants to have Hero and Brainiacs active at the same time, and there's only 2 other units in the game, both named Tapion, that do that. So if you want to run him, you are pretty much tying yourself down to having one of the Tapions alongside him. But besides that, he's pretty good. His link skills are things like Transform and Revival, which are also fairly inconsistent, and solid support's obviously a support-based link, and he does a Fierce Battle. All in all, his link set is just very weird, and it's just one of those link sets that you're just not going to be able to get alongside any other unit other than Tapion. So if you're running him to facilitate a Tapion, but he's still pretty good. I'd say everything up till, like the newest red zones, he's probably still pretty good for. Maybe not against super attacks, but in general still pretty solid. I used him in the Metal Cooler event the other day and he did quite fine. So he is still there, and he does still have scope to being pretty good. But yeah, overall I think he's a pretty fun unit, and in general I had a pretty nice time using him. But yeah, that's basically it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and bye.